Welcome to the Manuchehri podcast. Over the last 30 years, it has been my joy to assist humanity in aligning with their magnificence so they may heal, discover their natural gifts, and communicate with loved ones living on the other side. May you also experience delight while we dance in the powerful, intuitive world of energy. Let's get going. Welcome to our Energy Meets the Divine. I'll be your host for the next 45 minutes to an hour. Before we go to the phone lines, and you can leave a message at energyintuitive.com, go to the podcast page. Please like and subscribe below. It helps us with the work that we do. Today, I wanted to talk in more detail about manifesting. It's the beginning of the new year. A lot of people are rethinking what they want, what they would like to experience, what would be in their highest good, which I think is healthy. I think it's wonderful. We already know from all the podcasts I've shared so far that joy is incredibly powerful. It's incredibly powerful. Joy is. It is the barometer when you feel it authentically that you're on the right track. So if you're working to discover a career path, you will need to start following your joy, because you may not have even contemplated what your highest level of career path could be, the one that's the most inspiring, the one that feeds you on every level, emotionally, physically, financially. You may have never contemplated it. It never may have come into your awareness or your consciousness, or the exact pinpoint of it may not have occurred. If you start to pay attention to your authentic joy, whether it's career related or not, you will move into alignment. And when you're in alignment, we're able to hear and see and feel the multisensory realm. We're able to see our natural gifts and talents be illuminated in some shape or fashion. And then your job is to follow that too, to follow the joy. Just keep following the happy thing and the next happy thing and the next happy thing. And the next thing you know, you're going to be in a completely new reality. And with Neptune moving into Aries, we are moving into a new reality. It's happening already. The slow moving planet is shifting gears to be in a completely different sign, the sign of new beginnings, the fire sign of Aries. And so you rightly are thinking about, how can I manifest? How can I create this thing? Even if you've been working on it for decades, it doesn't matter how long you've put energy into manifesting something. That doesn't matter at all. Time does not exist. It is an illusion. Ask any modern day quantum physicist, and he will tell you that time is an illusion created by man. It's a man-made phenomenon, but it doesn't really exist. So take out the chronological worries. Take out all the other intellectual aspects about your manifestation that might be perplexing you at this moment in time, because it's really not impactful. What is impactful is your energy. Where is your energy? And the only place you want to practice your energy when it comes to manifesting is that you are in the frequency and the vibration that it's already happened. So you would be in gratitude. You would be super excited. You would be thrilled. And then, of course, you're going to have to come up with a whole bunch of other desires because you've completed this one list of desires, or a main desire that's truly important for you. When you visit that feeling that it's already happened, and I'm not saying it's easy. I know that it's not the simplest thing to do, especially on big ticket items that you want to create, hugely important things to you that you want to bring into this world. I know it's not that easy to be in the frequency that it's already here. But every time you do that, even for just a couple of seconds, the universe aligns with you and starts calibrating your subatomic particles to match the solutions for manifesting that. It literally is training your energy system and advancing your ability to co-create every single time you do that, every single time. So if you could start to pay attention to moments of joy, because that's the best time to then contemplate what you would be feeling if the thing you want, your heart's desire, were already here, front and center in your physical reality. If you're already happy and you then allow yourself to contemplate that, you're going to move into the vibration of gratitude about it and whatever else, excitement. Think of the times in your life where you completed a desire. It could have been graduating from a particular program or working for a particular company, going on a certain vacation, meeting certain friends, buying a really cool bike, having a child, getting a pet. All of these are really lovely antidotes to our life that allow us to feel in alignment with ourselves, our higher self, our spirit, our God selves, because creation, the universe, all of that is in a very joyful, high frequency vibration. So every time you visit that, if you can contemplate your previous accomplishments, because I'm sure you felt amazing, I'm sure you felt fantastic. If you can remember that and bring that back, that vibration, that feeling back into your cells and your DNA, into your RNA, even for just a few moments, the universe is going to help you to recalibrate your physical condition, your physical energy right now, so that you can more easily step into that vibration over and over and over again. It gets bigger and longer and bigger and longer. And then next thing you know, your desire is here, front and center. It's in your life. It's not going anywhere. It's here to stay. It's a wonderful experience for you to have. And what a lot of people forget is that once you get to that shiny new penny, it's kind of over with. I mean, it's lovely. I think people should spend more time valuing and appreciate their accomplishments, but then it's on to the next desire. Maybe not 5 minutes later or an hour later. It could be weeks, it could be months, it could be a year later, but you're going to move on to a whole nother aspect of desiring. And you're going to forget that you even worked at desiring that one thing. You're going to forget all about it. So it would be lovely if you could practice that joyful, final, oh my gosh, it happened frequency in relationship to the things that you are desiring right now, and holding space for the universe to train, recalibrate, refine tune your beautiful molecules in your body to continually match the final vibrational frequency that you will encounter when that thing exists in front of your eyes. So that's why it's so important to research what that feeling would look like, and not to be in the feeling of it's not here, it's not here, it's not here again. Oh my gosh, it's still not here. You don't want to be in that feeling, because you are going to keep creating it's not here. That's what you're going to keep creating. So you want to reprogram your mind to not go into that space. It's your mind. You can tell it to do anything. In fact, I highly recommend that you work on that you believe that that's true, rather than what many people feel like is that their brain has a mind of its own. It really doesn't. It's just a logical tool, and it is yours to mold, to sculpt, to train, to encounter, and to point in the healthiest, best direction for you. I highly recommend that you get on that very quickly. That is life altering when you recognize that your mind is not telling you things that are actually helpful or beneficial unless it has to do with logic. Creating and manifesting something is a very intuitive, energetic process. It has nothing to do with logic. It has everything to do with magic, spontaneity, serendipity type frequency and vibration. That's what it feels like when you reach your goals and you accomplish something. It's very magical. It's extremely magical. And people love to be in that celebratory energy. Your loved ones, your family members, your friends, your colleagues would love to celebrate with you. So let's get on it. Okay, it's a brand new year. Let's do it. I'm going to go to the phone lines now. All right.
Hi, Marie. My name is Josephine, and I live near New York City. My question is, I can't figure out if I'm an old soul or a new soul. And if I am an old soul, I'm here to learn self-compassion.
Right.
I am drawn to the healing arts. I've studied Reiki.
Yeah.
I am an artist. I'm a teacher. I'd love to explore. I love to teach children to explore. So, but I'm finding I'm frustrated around my career. And do I continue with Reiki? And if I am an old soul, do I drop the more of helping others and work more on my art? So I'm just having some trouble figuring out that direction. If you can help me, that would be wonderful. Thank you so much. And thank you for all you do.
You're very welcome, Joy. Yes, you are an old soul, and perhaps I haven't explained this well enough. Yes, old souls collectively come to earth to learn self-compassion. They already know compassion. The rut that old souls get into is they work on helping other people when it doesn't bring them joy. That's the problem. I'm an old soul. I obviously work to help humanity. It's one of my favorite things to do. It brings me great joy in this capacity, just like being a nurse. Uh, you know, I think it was 2000 that I left my nursing profession. 2000. That wasn't making me happy anymore. Although I still love hospitals. That brings me joy just to walk into a hospital. So my family members make sure I get to be the one that goes to the hospital to help someone because I love it there. And you have better experiences when the people you're with are in high frequency and high vibration. So this is about you not helping. This is about you learning what makes you personally happy. And that's the part I hear is missing. You don't know. I'm not saying it's not Reiki. I'm not saying that. But are you in your body? Are you resting in the lower half of your physical form? Are you allowing yourself to be present with your own being so you can identify what's bringing you joy? A lot of empaths leave their energy. They go and sit inside the body of others, or they hang out in other people's auras, because it is fascinating to read other people's energy. But what a lot of empathic people don't realize is you don't have to exit your own physical form. Your energy doesn't have to go anywhere to read other people's energy. In fact, we're much better readers and healers and whatnot when we are present with our own body and its own energy. So you need to figure out what makes you happy, because I can't feel it in your voice. I can't. And joy is it's a very high vibration. It's quite lovely. It's extensive. It can make your day. It can make your week. It can make your month. It can make your year. And it is meant to be visited regularly. So this is something you need to start exploring, not so much what your career path is. That can be all figured out when you get clarity about what makes you happy and knowing what doesn't make you happy. Like I learned working in the hospital no longer was making me happy. And not why, stay out of the logical, oh my gosh, why is that happening? Or, oh my gosh, when is that going to happen? Stay out of all that time sensitive, needing to know, the brain wants to know, well, why is that happening? Or how come that's not happening? You want to ignore that dialogue. It's a complete waste of your time. It doesn't matter. You just want to get to the next place where you are meant to be, that's in your highest good. And when anybody, but of course, obviously older soul types, are in alignment with their highest good, that is when they can be the most effective with humanity. When it comes to younger souls, they're not depleted by compassion. They could work in any field. Most of them do not. But they could work in any field of giving and be fulfilled, be energized, because that is what their soul is craving to learn and master, the art of compassion. Older souls, as you said, are learning the art of self-compassion. And it's very compassionate to know what makes you personally happy, not what's best for the planet, what's not best for humans or animals or the environment, but what makes you happy first. And then you can positively affect everything. I hope that's helpful. And I think it's fun to learn what makes one happy. I think it's a very curious thing. I love it when something in my life that used to bring me joy dries up, because I'm like, okay, well, now what is it? If it's not that, now what it will be. I don't think flowers will ever disappear from what brings me joy. In fact, my kids know, just send mom flowers. She'll be thrilled. Just send her some flowers. She'll be thrilled for weeks on end. But if it ever dries up, I'm curious about what would take its place. What would stimulate my energy to run in high frequencies that allow me to know more. And so communing with flowers lets me do that. Okay. And it's not why or, oh my gosh, that's silly. The answers to life are incredibly simple. They're not complicated. They're really, really simple. Okay. Thank you so much.
My name is Debbie. I'm from Western New York. And I am diagnosed when I was young with OCD, also recently ADHD and general anxiety, and have done well with
Good.
managing and improving, but there's always more to work on. And one thing I've really realized is I have such a fear of getting stuck with any thoughts. Like I can have just a basic thought comes to mind, and I'm afraid to go there. I try to push it away. That's where the OCD comes in, or I can almost get like a frozen in fear. It can get me feeling depressed. I have a fear of like thoughts flowing like they should, and anything can lead me to connect all these dots and just have fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I've always wondered if somehow it ties into something spiritual, like with manifesting and things, and it's important to have positive thoughts, and that I almost have a internal confusion over how to discern like positive thinking and manifesting thoughts with fear-based thoughts. And it's almost like the overlapping of the mental health and the spiritual pieces. I'm aware that like with a fearful thought is more like probably the anxiety, the brain-based, but I still have trouble discerning. And I just wondered if you could help me with, am I on the right path? Are there further things I could do to help with this? Like, how can I let my thoughts flow more freely and not just get so caught up on everything makes me just fearful?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure my question makes sense, but anything you could offer would be appreciated. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Debbie. Your question's great. And it is what we're talking about. You're just, in that place where actually millions and millions of people are having attention deficit disorder, depression, anxiety, which all comes from overthinking, analyzing, and processing. So it's not that thoughts are supposed to flow. The brain is meant to be quiet. Quiet. To be present doesn't mean to think. And so people who have these experiences, the majority of them, like 93 or more percent, probably 97%, that have anxiety, complain, or have the experiences that you have, it's simply because they won't stop thinking. And fear is an illusion. So anytime someone is starting to feel fear, they're truly in their ego and they are in this overthinking, analyzing aspects. So what would be helpful for you to learn, and what you're learning is great. You're clearly changing. You're refiguring this. And yes, it has a lot to do with spirituality, because in order to connect to the multisensory world, one has to quiet their mind. So it's not a flow of thoughts. It's a flow of no thinking. That's what meditation's even for, to train the mind to be quiet. Doing what's often referred to as Buddhist tasks, like washing dishes and only focusing on the suds in the water. To me, it's a form of detachment, where I'm detaching from all the chores I think I need to do in the house, or, like when my cats threw up today on the couch, so annoying, I'm like, detaching from, oh, I hope I cleaned that well enough. And I hope his stomach is okay. I think he's just being mean personally, because that's just kind of the cat he is. But even having those type of thoughts, those aren't healthy. They're not welcoming. They're not effective. They do nothing. They just create more stress and anxiety and worry. So what you could do, what could be helpful for you when you're trying to get to this place of flow, which really I want you to get a place of emptiness, of nothing happening between your ears. Believe me, that's the healthiest place to be, and that's normal, is to be nice to yourself about it. Like, sweetheart, I love you, handsome, beautiful, whatever kind words you want to express to yourself. I love you so much. And thank you for wanting to change. Or, just be nice to yourself in that moment. Even if you're feeling stressed, if you start to be nice to yourself, that could change the dynamic of your vibration significantly. So we're not supposed to have anything going on between our ears unless we need a logical solution. And very few people need logical solutions all day long. Many, many, many billions of people need intuitive information and solutions. That's the flow that you're looking for. But it's not thinking, it's being. It's being present. It's feeling vibrations and frequencies and energy within you and all around you, because that's what guides us, is the vibrations, the energies that are speaking to us. They're always constantly speaking to us, but humans are in their head analyzing something that happened 20 years ago, or vomit on a couch, cat vomit, and they're not present because my cat threw up on it last night. I found it this morning. I've already cleaned it, but I was still thinking about it. I hope that's helpful. Okay, thank you.
Hi, Marie. My name is Joy. I would love your take on my heart chakra. Any tips that you have to help me open up the back of it? I've heard you teach about opening up the back of the heart chakra, and I've been working on that. I've been working on living into my body and using my brain less and following what feels good and following the joy, which is ironic because my name is Joy. And sometimes when I visualize the back of my heart chakra, it's like a fizzle or it gets stuck on one side. And I have dreams about my heart. And so I'm interested in it from a physical perspective, heart healing, and also from an energetic perspective. So any tips you can help me visualize or do to think about my heart chakra or feel about my heart chakra, I would appreciate it. Thanks so much for all you do, and I'm loving this new format.
Thank you. I'm glad you like the new format. I do too. I definitely do. So your heart chakra is open, the back and the front. That's not the issue. What the back of the heart chakra is meant to do is receive huge amounts of subatomic particles into the body. It is the largest receptivity vessel, if you will, in the entire physical form. And you don't take energy in. That could be the fizzle that you're feeling, like it's fizzling out. It's not working. It's not broken. This has to do with your self-worth and what you believe you deserve. If you could begin to visualize or feel energy moving into your back, you just make it up in your mind as if maybe 1,000 puppies are running in, or 1,000,000 hummingbirds, or warm water, light. It doesn't matter what you're using as a tool to help you get comfortable with receptivity, and then be a good coach to yourself. Like, good job, honey. That was great receptivity. Or, wow, I'm very impressed with your ability to receive. You must be falling in love with yourself. Great job. Having these positive accolades towards ourselves are actually incredibly important. The best love anyone will ever feel in the world is self-love. And humans are really far away to having that experience to any collective level. Even all the people I talk to are still contemplating the concept, quite frankly. Like, it seems so foreign, so much against what we've been taught through all the different organizations, from religion to education, that doesn't talk about that at all, and actually speaks in the opposite, that we have to be very compassionate to others, which I'm not saying is wrong, but how can you really be compassionate to another person if you're not compassionate to yourself? It's like it's not going to be as authentic as it could be, or as powerful or necessary. So your job is to learn to receive. What if I'm receiving all that I truly deserve? That's a great what if question for you. Thank you, Joy, for your question.
Hi, Marie. My name is Tina. I have fibromyalgia and chronic problems with my left hip, especially, also my low back. I have some psychic information that I need to exercise more. I do water aerobics,
Good.
but sometimes even that will flare things up, like the sciatica. There's a cluster of conditions I've got going on between my low back and hip and left leg and all that. What are some of the things you think that I can do to best help myself, and the best exercise I can do? Thank you for everything that you do, and I hope you have a fabulous day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Tina. I think the water aerobics is a great idea, because then you have the gravity out of play, and it's a wonderful way to build muscle and move the body and create flexibility. So I think that's a great way to do it. I really think near infrared and red light therapy, and I know I say that almost every podcast, and that's because as an energy worker, I can't lay hands on everyone who contacts me. It's practically impossible. I already book out, a couple years in advance, and I see less and less clients because I do more and more teaching, and just to make 2 podcasts a week is a time-consuming experience, but a joyful one. So near infrared and red light is like getting energy work done. Not just the spiritual aspect of energy work, but the ATP that's necessary for your cells to work. And fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, all of these autoimmune disorders are signs and symptoms of people being very depleted of ATP. Their mitochondria are not working well. There is also an aspect, a low, it's not a huge aspect, but there is a vibrational aspect of victimization when people don't feel good for long periods of time. But the victimization had to be there already. It almost invites it in as a potential problem when people keep their energy in some form of victimization. So I think the red light therapy would be great. Then it could give you more energy to do other exercise, like go for long walks, maybe play a small round of pickleball, which is really fun, by the way, however you want to play it. So near infrared, red light therapy, if that feels right to you, okay. And do your best just not to worry. In fact, although for our conversation it was important, I just wouldn't say the word fibromyalgia anymore. You've already been diagnosed with it. It's in your chart somewhere. I'm sure all your friends and family know. You can use it when you need to communicate in certain necessary circles, but you don't want to start to say words. None of us need to say words that helps us or the people on earth to identify us in a way that we don't want to be identified. If you don't want fibromyalgia, you can't talk about it any longer because the throat chakra is extremely powerful. Those are just some thoughts and ideas that I have, but I think you're going to start to feel better. I think you already are beginning to feel better. You just are scared because this came on unexpectedly and it's a chronic condition or can be. And so you're worried like, oh, wow, now I have another symptom and another issue, another problem. I would prefer you not spend a lot of time in that arena. And make sure you have your hormones checked, which means if anyone's around my age, you can assume, and you don't take any hormone replacement that I think needs to be compounded, of course, bioidentical. Your hormones are in the toilet. Your hormones are in the toilet. We're checking them though, because if you decide to do bioidentical hormones, your doctor can tell if there's been an improvement when you start taking them, which of course there will be. Okay, I hope that's helpful.
Hello, Marie. My name is Anne. I'm ringing from Ireland. My question that I have for you today is, what is my best choice for my career? I have no idea where to go or how to go about it. And I was just wondering if you could give me any insight or help on it. And also just a general energy reading, how my energy looks and my auras at the moment. Thank you.
I'm laughing, Anne, because that's a private session to have all those things done, to have your energy read, your org field, and to help you find a career path. That's a private session. I know I don't have any available right now on my website. I understand that. But it's, kind of a little bit of conundrum. I can't tell. And I can't tell when people, again, are void of the vibration of joy. Many people, I can't feel their career path or other career path in general. There's maybe perhaps other things as well, but there are just so many things out there in the world and you're not investigating your joy. You're trying to intellectually figure this out and you can't. You have to follow the happiness. So if it were me, I would make a list. I would find a quiet morning with a fresh cup of tea. I would wait till it's beautiful outside and have something that you can continually look at, because finding joy is also a detachment from the mind where you just stop thinking, stop analyzing, stop trying to figure things out. It's really a waste of everything that you can imagine from my perspective. So I would make a list while you're sitting there sipping your tea and looking at something that makes you happy. It may not be what makes me happy, like nature, But whatever it is, maybe you have some beautiful art in the room that you're sitting in. Maybe you love a piece of furniture. Maybe you like the color of the walls. In my house, almost all the walls are beige. My kids do not like the color beige. I mean, they complained for at least 3 or 4 years after I moved into this home, excuse me, about the beige walls. And they really can't wait until I paint them some shade of gray, which I don't know if I will. I really like beige. I might just find a lighter, creamier color of beige. So you make a list and you want to start to pay attention to if your body's having a reaction. So maybe your list will be kind of general, and general is the best way to go initially for everything. I know everybody wants to go, no, I need to have the thing, whether it's a partner or more money or a better body or a career path, they want the thing. But if you go kind of general, because you want to learn how to read your body, how to feel your connection to source energy, because careers can change again, especially how long we live these days. It's not unusual for people to have multiple careers. It's not unusual. In fact, I think it's normal and healthy. I think it's weird when people do work unless they feel authentic joy in it for 40 years. I think it's weird because very few people are in alignment with their true passion. So maybe the list would be, and this is just an example, medicine, publishing, spirituality, exercise, CEO, just kind of throw in some topics, even ones that you've never been interested in before. In fact, I think that's crucial. Because you'll get confident, like, yeah, I really don't want that. Or you could easily be surprised, like, oh, I never thought I would feel happy about that. So as you're making this list and you're going back to distracting yourself by going back to something that brings you joy, which you may need to spend some time figuring out. Sad as that is, every time I feel like I have to say that to someone, it is the truth. It is the answer to moving forward in every area of our life. Is it personally joyful for you? Right? And most people have no idea what that means. That's why I have a job. One of the main reasons I have a job. So you've made your list, and maybe this takes a half an hour where you just sit there and how does that feel? And if you could, even feelings of curiosity, because joy is a curious feeling, or curiosity is joyful. It reminds me of, when my kids would go to a particular event when they were in elementary school, a field trip, and I would, of course, chaperone because I was a little controlling about how my children were educated and who educated them. Wish I could have been that way in middle school, high school, and college, but they kind of keep the parents out then, right? You can't do that. You can't be a helicopter parent then. But when the kids get off the bus and they go into, let's say, the Seattle Aquarium, and they're looking at, beautiful creatures from the sea that they've never seen before. Oh my gosh. I mean, the joy is palpable while they're on the bus. They're on a field trip. Some of their parents are there. They got a cool sack lunch. They're not in school all day. You can feel it. That's what I'm talking about. That's what the feeling of joy is like. So you may need to go back to some of your childhood experiences, where maybe your parents gave you a pet one day. Don't think about the pet dying. Don't go to the negative low vibrational experience or the way humans interpret certain experiences. But even the kids getting out the bus and walking into the aquarium, and they're excited and they're running around. And even if the parents are saying, slow down, they don't care. They've got their hands touching sand dollars and sea cucumbers, it's quite phenomenal. That's what you're looking for. So if you even get a hint of curiosity in any of the topics that you bring, and throw in some topics that you would never consider, then start to investigate it like, I got curious about that. Ooh, because just visiting that kind of frequency and vibration is welcoming more of the universe connecting to you to bring to you your natural gifts and talents. Okay, so that's your homework assignment. And anybody who's listening who has a similar question, that's your homework assignment. Okay.
Hi, Marie. My name is Ariana from Canada, and I have a question for you. I have a very challenging relationship with my mother. I love her dearly, but she's very moody, and it tends to affect me. She's in her 80s with a heart condition, but she won't leave her apartment unless I come to pick her up or someone else does.
Mm-hmm.
I often feel exhausted after being with her and feel bad after because it wasn't a great experience for either one of us. I'm not sure how to manage this situation. I'm a nutritionist and I see a lot of people, and I've been feeling like I'm burning out. Any advice you have would be amazing, and thank you so much for everything you do.
Great. Well, I would love it if you took your nutrition career into an intuitive process, really helping people to even read the vibration of food. Like for some reason, my body lately, although I did eat a small amount of rice yesterday, it doesn't want to eat carbs right now. I don't question it. I don't go, oh my gosh, is something wrong with me? I go, no, my body doesn't want to eat carbs. Okay, great. And I don't mean fruits or vegetables, but it doesn't want to eat grain. I'm like, oh, great. I'm not going to eat grain right now. I would love it if you take your career into that pathway. We don't know how you're going to feel in maybe a month or so because we have Mars retrograde. And so a lot of people can feel tired right now, exhausted, worn out, because Mars is a very powerful planet. It's been retrograde for a while. And of course, it's going to be in some sort of dark zone. I forget what the actual term is. So it's not going to be fully awake when it begins to wake up later in February. And we have Neptune also moving into Aries. So I wouldn't make any huge changes. I would certainly be curious about them. But luckily, Neptune's moving in March. So that's not far away. I'm just saying you might have some changes. You might feel more vibrationally alert. If you have siblings, then make sure everybody's sharing the responsibility of taking care of mother. And if you have siblings who say they won't, you just don't show up a couple times and they will. I set very clear boundaries early on when my mother was still quite active because I knew what would bring me joy and what wouldn't. And I want to be joyful when I'm with her. I want to be happy to spend time with her because then we both have a wonderful time. But there is something that will be very helpful for you is you need to stop thinking of this woman as your mother. That goes a long way for older souls. You've already had who knows how many mothers or parents in the Earth realm or other planets that are like Earth that exist, other realities. She's really not your mother. No, there is. The only thing that is motherly to you are people that when you're around them, you feel loved, adored, and cherished. That's the true definition of family. You don't feel that way about your mother. We're not blaming her. We're not blaming anyone. There's nothing wrong. You just need to learn to use that term accurately. And when someone doesn't give you that feeling, they're not your mother. Even if you share DNA, even if they birthed you or they adopted you or whatever, they're not your mother. So if you can start to feel that way, you're going to change your vibration because we have an expectation of what a mother or a father or a sibling, other family relations, how they're supposed to appear in our life and how they're supposed to affect us. And a lot of people are very disappointed because they don't have that experience with these people that they describe as their family. And then you give them a strong title like mother or father. It's very disappointing when you hang out with them and you don't feel good and you're more exhausted and worn out, or you just kind of don't want to go over there. So she's not your mother. She's a soul. I'm sure you have other people in your life that you feel nurtured, loved, and cherished by. Those are your family members. And I'm sure some of them mother you. Those are your mothers. They may even be men. They could be a pet. It doesn't really matter. But let's take this, forceful energy about what motherhood is supposed to be like and allow ourselves not to be constantly disappointed, because that's really what creates the low vibration and frequencies. You're disappointed. You don't get the nurturing that you want from her. And it's hard to nurture someone who was meant to nurture you and you never really felt that to the degree that you desired. But there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong. So that's my homework for you. I hope it's helpful.
Hi Marie, this is Christina from Denmark, and I have a question regarding my career. I found it very difficult to find a job that's meaningful for me and satisfying. So even though I've changed jobs, I was never able to find something that I enjoy doing. I know that I'm supposed to do something that brings me joy, and even though it's easy for me to identify those things that bring me joy, it's difficult to translate that into a work possibility. I've played a little bit around with the idea of becoming a yoga teacher, a healer, or doing psychic work, but I just don't know if I have what it takes. So I guess my question is, do you see any potential for me working, taking a more spiritual path in my career? Is there something specific that I would be good at that would bring me joy and success? Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, you are quite psychic. I just drew out your third eye, and it's got a lot of beautiful alignments in it, lots of great grid lines, very close together. But can't you just go ahead and try? I think it's funny that humans want to wait till they know for sure what they're supposed to be doing before they even try. I find it, and no offense to you at all, but I find it kind of ridiculous. Like, that can't be. I remember when my children's dad, and I was contemplating, I was finally going to go back to school. I dropped out of school to put him through school, and then I started having kids, and I was annoyed. I wanted to have something of my own. I wanted to have a career of some sort eventually, right? Eventually, because I was raising kids. So I wanted to go back to school, and I wasn't sure what to study. And he said to me, I think you should consider medicine because you really like people and you like to read. And I looked at him like, what are you talking about? Because medicine was the furthest thing from my mind, the absolute furthest. But I thought it was a place to start. So I began to take some science courses, and I loved them. And I said to him, well, I'll take some courses. If I like them and I'm good at it, I'll consider, going to nursing school. And I loved them. Love them. It was incredibly fun for me. And of course, then I went to nursing school. You have to try things out. You have to try things out. You have to. I'll give a pickleball analogy. So I think everyone knows I play pickleball every Sunday morning with my friend Shayna. And we've taken some private lessons. We've taken a group class. We kind of don't care about scoring. We like to play singles because we really like to run, and we play on a court that's bigger than a pickleball court. Eventually, we're going to have to learn more of the rules so that we can play doubles because we're getting good. And I can't run as fast across the court to catch her great backhand, now that she's getting better and better. And so it can slow down the game a little bit. But we're having a lot of fun, and we honestly don't care. So imagine if we took these lessons like we have, and we determined like, oh, we're not doing very well. We're just not going to play pickleball anymore. Like, that would be insane because we're having so much fun and we don't really care. We don't care I don't care what the score is. I could care less. I'm not on the pickleball court to win. I'm on the pickleball court to have fun and to play and to exercise my body and to run around. So you need to start checking these things out. You have some good ideas. I like the yoga just because it would be fun for you to be out in front of people and to gain some confidence. But that is not, I think, your next profession unless you owned a studio or something of that nature. But you are going to find this out on your own because you need to start testing the waters. You need to start testing the waters. When I was working on patients in the hospital as an energy worker and training myself, my guides yelled at me for probably 3 weeks, maybe a month or so, to tell my patients what I was seeing and hearing and feeling. And I didn't want to. I didn't know. I was scared, that they wouldn't know what I was talking about. I think I was really more afraid of my power. And that's really what everyone's afraid of. They're afraid of their power. They're afraid of their magnificence. And so you're holding yourself back by not even exploring. You have some ideas. Great. Go check them out. Go see how you feel about it. Because once we move in the direction of our authenticity, the universe is very helpful, extremely effective, and brings more and more information towards us. I mean, we could turn our backs and walk away from it. I don't recommend that. I see people do that, honestly. But yeah, you need to go out there. So it took me a while before I started to tell patients in the hospital what I was experiencing, and I would shut the door to their room to make sure nobody would walk in while I'm saying these weird things to them, these intuitive things that were actually necessary, powerful, and helpful. And I was delighted and surprised by the response I got from the things that I would share with others. So you need to go play. I think that's the great way to describe it. That's probably why pickleball came up as an analogy in some ways, because you need to go play. Go play with these things. And anyone else who's figuring out their career, go play. Go play with the career world. Go figure something out. Go see if you like it. That's the most important thing. Is it making you happy? Okay. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this podcast. I wish you many, many joyful blessings. Bye-bye for now.